If you're watching this video, it's probably because you had problem against the Caro-Kann. But after this, you can be sure that you're going to win most of your games, because I'm going to show you one of the most broken lines against this defense. Now, if you want to skip directly to the line, there are 10 steps in the video, but what I'm going to do now is to show you how to actually get to this line. So first of all, we are playing the Caro-Kann, so we're playing e4 and our opponent responds with c6. Now we are in the Caro-Kann and we play d4, d5, and we are going to play the advanced variation with pawn on e5. Now the advanced variation is the most played one, so you probably already play it, and if you don't, in order to get to the line I'm going to show you, you just need a few moves. Also, the advanced variation is a really strong one. After e5, 11 times out of 10 they're going to play bishop on f5, which is logical and which is the point of the Caro-Kann, to develop the light square bishop in a better position than the French. Now, we are going to follow the main line, and the main line of the advanced variation is with knight on f3. This is main line played thousands and thousands of times. They play e6, which again is the main line and is pretty much the only move they are going to play, and we keep following the main line with bishop on e2. Now, this broken line will start after the next opponent move. If our opponent plays c4, how many times did you face this move? Personally, I faced this move a lot of time at my level, and by the way, I'm 2100, and at a lower level, it's probably the most played move, even though it's not the best, because if you follow the theory, the main line is knight on d7, but really, most of the time people are going to play c5, which, I mean, by the way, is the second most played move. They're going to play c5, and now we are going to play this broken line. After they play c5, we are on the line, they can't avoid it, they are going to get crushed. Now, if I turn on the computer, it's only plus 0.4, but don't worry, because this is going to be really tricky and most importantly, really strong. Now we play bishop on e3. So the pawn on c4 is attacked 2 times. So the best move is actually to take this pawn. They take the pawn and we take it with the knight, attacking the bishop. And now the opponent can already go wrong by putting the bishop on g6, because they don't want to lose it. They don't want to play the bishop for the knight, so they're going to put the bishop on g6. Well, if I turn on the computer, it's almost plus 1, because now we are going to castle, and it's going to be much worse. After that is plus 1.4. But why? Because let's say our opponent tried to develop, and bishop, knight on d7 is a really logical move because this is a weak diagonal. Well, now we can just play pawn on c4, and our opponent is so behind on development that is going to lose really fast. Now, taking the pawn is not the best move. The best move is actually to develop the knight on e7. But if they do that, we can put more pressure on the pawn on d5. So they have to take it, we develop the bishop, and they are trying to develop their square bishop. But now we have this incredible move, bishop takes on e6. And this is already lost, is plus 2. And if they take it, which is wrong, is plus 7.5, because we can just take this pawn. Let's say they don't want to lose the rook, so they're going to move the queen. We put the knight on b5 and it's almost plus 9, because or they're going to get mated really fast or they're going to lose pretty much everything. The best move is actually to put the king on f7, but they're going to get crushed really soon. Queen on b3 and GG. So the bishop can't be taken, so what if I take the knight now? Well, I take with check, queen take, and if you do your calculation, you can see that I'm just up a pawn, and my opponent is still behind on development. The best move is actually to play queens and is plus 2, so that is not so good. And what if they don't play the best move? And what if they don't play the best move though? Let's say they take this pawn. Well, bishop take on c4. And this is pretty much GG. Let's say they develop the knight on c7. We have queen on a4, putting a lot of pressure against this queen. Let's say they die knight on c6. Well, you can just take this knight. They take back. Queen takes. And come on. This is pretty much hopeless. They try to play this thinking they are really clever. Well, we can just go back. Rook on d1. Develop the knight. Do whatever you want. This pin is so strong and we're going to win. Don't worry. It's +3. So moving the bishop is not that strong, right? Well, the best move is to develop the knight on e7. And now if we take, it's wrong because our opponent is going to have a really good knight. One of the best and trickiest move is, and the most played, is knight on d2. Now I'm just going to follow the main line because this is a position I'm kinda sure you are never going to face. It almost never happened that people take the pawn, but if they do that, I'm going to show you the main line. And it's a really theoretical one, so that's why I'm saying it's really hard that people are going to play it, but you never know, right? So bishop on e4, and the point of that is that you actually want to play the knight because there are knight on g5 ideas which are really tricky and really annoying. And this is the trickiest move possible. It's not the most played move, it's the second most played move, but is the move in which white has the highest winning rate. He actually has a winning rate of almost 50%, and the other is just a draw. So or you win or you draw basically with this move. And why? Because now they take this knight for the reason I told you before, and we sack this pawn. So that's why I say no one is going to play this. It's theory. It's really theoretical. And you see, we have all the pressure on the world against the black king, and we are actually threatening to take the knight because the knight on c6 is pinned. They defend, or at least they try to defend the position, and we put more pressure as possible. As you can see, they're trying to castle. Now they can't, because if you castle now, you're going to lose a piece. You can't take this or my knight because there is a queen behind, you know? So they can't even castle now. The best move is actually to put the knight on g4. And I mean, you can't really see this. If you take, this is push, which is annoying. But yeah, knight takes e6. We take the knight now and they castle. And look at this position. So we are even in material, but our opponent has this really weak pawn on e6. We have this pin. Yeah, his bishop is strong, but the best move is actually to play pawn on c3 now, and we have no problem. And white is better, is not much better, but I mean, we are going to be better, and this is theory, best move, and no one is going to play this stuff. Like, come on. How can you play knight on g4, honestly? But you know the best thing about this? This was the best move, and in the best scenario is +1 for white. So yeah, let's see what are the other moves that black can play. Now, almost everyone is going to play queen on b6 in this position, and now you're going to see one of the stupidest line ever. This is so strong, no one is going to understand what happens. You play knight on c3. Now, at my level, not everyone takes this pawn, but it's going to happen, don't worry. And even if they don't, they are in trouble. If they take this pawn, this move is so stupid. Queen b1. And what queen b1 does, I'm going to lose a piece, right? Queen b1 hangs a piece, also hangs a pawn. It's terrible. Also, why am I trying to play queen while I'm down a pawn? Well, first of all, if they take this knight, this is the call an ambulance but not for me scenario. They're going to lose the queen. The queen is grabbed. Yeah, you can do this, but it's +3. So they can't really do that. And what if they take this pawn? Well, in whatever way you want to defend, the queen is grabbed. Yeah. So you kinda get it, you kinda get it. You have to take this rook. I take back. If you take this pawn, you have lost. It's +2 for white. I have all the pressure in the world. You can try to make me have a bit of less pressure, but you're not going anywhere. You are not going anywhere. There is everything now. So you can't even take this pawn. So what can you do? Well, the most played move is c4, and now you take with the rook. We have the same material, but yeah, if you look a bit closely, yeah, this not, you can't play this. Well, we have the same material, but I think I'm a little bit better, you know? Look at this. I mean, he just have developed one piece and is going to get crushed. And if they try to play b6, for example, we can just take this pawn. They take back. If they take with the bishop, we take the bishop. It is not a problem. Still, rook on b7. They're not winning a pawn now, but are we losing a piece? Because there is d4. So we are losing a piece, right? No. I mean, yeah, we are losing a piece. I'm lost, right? I'm not lost. I'm completely winning. It's +3. And our opponent, yeah, can play knight on d7. It's +6. I take this. Yeah, you try to do this stuff. You try to win as many pawns as possible. My man, you're not going anywhere. Not going to lose this knight. Don't worry, because you have to develop the bishop. And if you try to do something like this, I have knight on b5, and I'm going to win the rook. You're not going to win the knight. It's hopeless. I'm up and it's change, but it's not only that. I'm going to up a lot more pieces because my opponent is so behind on development. His king can't go anywhere. His pieces can't go anywhere, and they win. So this line is broken, honestly. What happens if they don't take the pawn, right? I mean, if they take the pawn, they lose. So let's say that they do something else. Let's say they play to play knight on c6. Well, now we castle. Now we castle, we are safe, there is no problem. If they take the pawn, we can try another move. It's not queen b1, it's queen e1. Why? We are threatening the queen b1. If they take, we can take on c5, and let's say our opponent try to develop, try to do something. Yeah, the point of c5 is that I'm going to crush you again. This knight is so strong. They can't really take the pawn, so what can they do? Well, the best move is to take the pawn. We are going to take with the bishop. They take, we take back. And after this, all of a sudden, yeah, get played in everything. We are down a pawn, right? Yeah, we are down a pawn, but look at this position. White is better because we have the check with the bishop. The king has to go somewhere, and we take this bishop. Yeah, we're still down a pawn, but this is a bit lost. Don't worry, but they're going to lose this pawn really quickly, and we are going to have a best status. So if someone has to win, it's going to be white. But yeah, that was the best move possible, to take the pawn now after we castle. If they try to push the pawn on c4, well, the trickiest move, maybe it's not the best, but I mean, 56% of winning rate, I think it's enough. Yeah, they're trying to pin our knight. You know what that is now? Bishop takes c4. Why? Because when you take it, which is the best move, I play d5. I can just move the knight, right? I mean, can, but you lose the queen. So maybe not. You have to move the queen. The best move is queen on d8 that no one is going to play because yeah, they think they're going to be much worse in the endgame, which is true. They're going to be much worse in the endgame, but at least it's the best move. People tried queen on a5, we have dxg, so we take the knight back, we do this stuff, and we play knight on d2. Well, if they take, it's already lost because there is knight takes c4, which all the threats on the king, so they can take, and if queen takes on e5, we still have these, and if they try to defend the pawn, well, we have knight on e4 now. If they take, we take back, we're threatening everything possible, and we're going to win really fast. It's +4 as you can see. So queen b6 wasn't such a great move. If we try to defend it, like let's say b6, which is a really bad move. In fact, if I turn on the computer, is already +2. But why? Well, because now we can just castle, and after our opponent develop, because I guess they are not going to take now because they wanted to defend the pawn, so probably they want to develop, and they're going to develop the knight on e7, which I mean at the end of the day is the most logical move. They develop the knight, but now we can just play c4, and they pretty much have to take it because otherwise they're getting crushed. So we can take the pawn. Let's say they develop the knight because they tend to develop their pieces. We can just take this pawn. They can't take back with the knight because if they do, there is just bishop take on c5, which is winning, because if the queen takes, we can just take with the rook. They take our bishop, we give a check, and this is GG. This is completely lost. They have to sack the knight. Otherwise, they're going to get mated, and I mean, we're just up a piece in a position where we are just up a piece and the queen are off the board, so it's GG. And it's not only that, I mean, it's much worse than that, so yeah, that's hopeless. So b6 is a really bad move. Another bad move is to push this pawn on c5. Why? Why is this move that bad? Well, if I turn on the engine, you can see that it's already 1.3. Because now we can play b3, attacking this pawn, and threatening to ruin his daughter. As you probably know, this move never works because there is always this, and if they take, they're going to lose the rook. So you can't defend with b4, and the best move is to take this pawn, we take back, and we open the rook, and we already have a lot of pressure against black. They play knight on e7, short castle, and they play their best to move the bishop, develop the knight on g6, develop the bishop on e7 and castle, but they are really much behind on development. Now we can keep going in our attack and play c4. c4 is a really strong move, and computer is suggesting to actually develop this knight on c6. So after that, we're going to develop our knight on c3, and if they play something like this, which by the way is the best move, developing the bishop, they took us a shot and attacking my knight, we can just put the knight on b5, maybe threatening something against the king, short castle now, and the best move is to play the knight on e1 because we want to reroute it on d3. This is a really strong move and is +1.5, but why? Well, if they play a6, then to make us move the knight, first of all, is not really attacking the knight, because if they do that, we take the rook. But now we take the pawn, they take back with the pawn again, we develop the knight. Now the best move is to take this knight, we take this f5, trying to gain more space, but after f4 you can see that white is much better because my pieces are in better squares, they are more active, I have more space, I have a pass pawn which is defended 2 times, and white has high winning chances now. So can they play something else? Sometimes they play knight on c6, and we are just going to take a quick look at this because you split up with a pawn, because their point is that they're going to take this pawn back. They're not going to take this pawn back. They are not going to take this pawn back. So they basically lose a pawn, so knight on c6 does not work. The last thing I want to show you is what happens after knight on d7. You still take the pawn. Well, now you just castle, so no problem. They play knight on e7 because they want to develop something, or at least they want to try it. And you play c4 because you want to open all the position because his queen is on the middle and you want to win. If they take, you take with the bishop, and whatever they does. Now, for example, they're trying to play b5, but don't worry. Now we play d5. This is not the best move, but it's the quickest one. And if you want to win against a human being, you just have to play a move like this. Because let's say they take back, you take with the bishop. Yeah, it's already +2 because, as you can see, there is all the pressure in the world against the king. If they try to develop the bishop, for example, there is queen, b3, and gg. If they take the pawn on e5, which is the best move, we can take the knight, and now they take back, and now we uncork this combination, which is kinda insane. b5, whatever. Okay, I sack a piece. Why? Well, they're not going to defend with the queen, they're going to move the king. Let's give this check. If they take it with the queen, they're going to lose the rook. If they take it with the king, they're going to lose the queen. Or if they block, at least the piece. So they have to move the king again. Check with the king, with the queen on h4. The king goes on g3. Yeah, black is better, but is slightly better, and you're going to tell me is better? Really? We take the pawn on c5, the board is wide open, the king is on the middle, the king is in the middle, they're trying to run, yeah, but they're going to have some problems. If you want to play something really tricky, this is the best play possible. Or otherwise, there is another move, but I mean, yeah, computer is saying is almost -1, but from a human standpoint, you're going to win. At this point, otherwise you can play this. And if they take, it's +7, because, yeah, we lost a piece, but good luck. And if they're going to take back with the pawn, we're going to take the knight now. We give a check. If they play to defend this way, well, they're going to lose the knight. And if they plan to defend with the knight, that is g4. So when we give a check, they're going to defend with g6. And we play queen on e2. And if you look at this position, if someone has to win, it's going to be white. So going back, this is what you get when you play bishop on e3. This line is such a broken line. You're going to win probably all the times. I mean, if you know the theory of this line, you're going to win every time because it's really, really, really strong. So I suggest you to play in this. If you like video like this, please let me know in the comment and leave like and subscribe, and see you to the next video.